Hello, my name is Kisame Hoshigaki, and welcome to a brand new story of mine. I've been working on this story for a while, quite a while. I just never got the courage or energy to record, but I'm doing nothing today, and I have some time to spare. So today's what if is what if Deku was the Dovahkiin from the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. How we will start this off is how should I start this off? I'm going completely off the top of my head. I know. So we see Inko in the hospital giving birth to two kids, Izumi Midoriya and Izuku Midoriya. And their father is the one and only All Might. So we know All Might, Inko, and Izuku, but Izumi is a special case. She will be able to inherit One for All from Inko giving birth to her since she is All Might's daughter. I hope you guys are following with this. So now we'll skip to when both of them are the age of 4. Let's say Izumi, yes, Izumi walks up to Inko and says, Mommy, can we go to the quirk doctors?" She was all happy, jumping around, hoping she'd be able to go to the quirk doctor with her brother, her younger brother, today. And then Inko says, "Of course, sweetie. Go get your brother, and we'll be ready. We'll get ready." She says, "Okay, Mom," and she runs off. Now we'll go ahead and skip until once they get to the quirk doctors. And then the doctor yells, "The Midoriyas." Then Inko says, "Come on, guys, let's go." So they go in. The doctor looked at both kids and said, "Who wants to go first?" Izumi says, Me. Izuku's like, "She can go first. I don't care." Then the doctor said, "Oh well, very well. Let's go, young Midoriya, Izumi Midoriya." The doctor said, "All right, Izumi, let's go." So skip 30 minutes. They come back, and then Izuku went. Same process, blood sample, X-ray, all the normal stuff, and then they get back after another 30 minutes. The doctor looked at Ingo says, "Well, I have good and bad news." Then Ingo says, "Okay, let me hear the bad news first." The bad news, then the doctor said, "The bad news is I am so sorry, but your son is quirkless." Izuku's heart shattered into hundreds of thousands of pieces. And then the doctor said, on the plus side, oh, excuse me. Then on the plus side, Izumi has two quirks: a strength enhancement and a telekinesis quirk. Then Inko got up and ran to Izumi and hugged her and picked her up and swung her around. It's like, "My little girl has two quirks. This is awesome." And she forgot about Izuku. The doctor notices, and he said to Izuku, "Don't worry, I can help you with your quirklessness." Izuku looked at the doctor and says, "What do you mean?" He says, I have good contacts with some of the underground heroes, and I think Eraserhead might like to train you." "Oh, okay. Sounds good. Thank you, Doc." "No problem, young one." Now we skip until once they got home. Toshinari, or All Might, as some of us may know, walks up to Inko and says, "Hey, Inko, what's the quirks?" And Inko said, "Izumi here has a strength enhancement and telekinesis." Then All Might says, "Oh, wow, good job, my little girl. And what about Izuku?" Inko just sighed, looked at him with dead eyes, and says, "He's quirkless." All Might was enraged. He was, I don't know, worse than Bakugo's temper, I guess, how mad he was. Excuse me. And then he walks up to Izuku's room, knocks on the door. Izuku opens and says, "Yes, Dad?" And All Might just clobbers him into the wall. Full 100%, somehow didn't die. You know what? Plot armor. Izuku has Sasuke's plot armor. That sounds good enough. Izuku's just sitting there knocked out on the ground. Should I do this early? You know what? Yes. Yes, I'll do this early. In Izuku's mindscape, he sees one person and two dragons. Izuku says, whoa, dragons, so cool. And the two dragons look at each other and says, let's get something different, Alduin? Then, as we know, as Alduin looks back, indeed, Parthenax. What do you think, Dovahkiin? Well, he looks at both dragons and just nods. And Parthenax looks at Izuku and says, "Come, little one. We must train until you become the next hero. Like the Dovahkiin right here." Hero? What's his quirk? But he doesn't. Does he talk? What's your quirk? Parthenax just said. Well, the Dovahkiin looked at Parthenax and nodded. And Parthenax said, "You see, young one, we do not have quirks. We have magic." Magic? Magic doesn't exist. You see, before quirks, magic existed. Hundreds of thousands of years ago. When dragons still roamed this earth. Like myself and Alduin over here. Oh? Oh, okay. So you guys, then Izuku said, "Oh, okay. So you guys know I'm quirkless." Alduin says, "Of course we do know. We sense very high levels of magic compared to us three together." Izuku's like, "And how much magic do you guys have?" Alduin and Parthenax said, "Well, we have roughly, I don't know, let's say 24,000. And then Parthenax said, "The Dovahkiin over here has a whopping, at least, I don't know, last time I checked." The Dovahkiin looked at Parthenax, put all 5 fingers up, and 0. And then the 0. Then he did like kind of an X shape with his arms, with his fingers. And a 5. Then pointing at Parthenax, he says, "Oh, okay. So he has a power of roughly 5,500,000. I said that right. 550,000. Whoa, that was a weird number. And then Izuku says, "Wow, that's cool. But you said you'll train me. How will you train me?" And then Alduin says, "We'll train you in the magic. Us three will train you in the way of magic and the way of the voice. Where Dovahkiin over here will train you in the art of sneaking, summoning. No, we can summon. So sneaking, unarmed combat, swords play, war axes, any weapon, archery. Name it, this guy probably have it mastered." Oh, that's so cool. And then Parthenax says, "Let's get training, little one." Then Izuku asks, "How long will it be?" Then Alduin says, "It will be 20 years, my child." Izuku's like, 20 years? I'll be too old to go to UA. And the Dovahkiin just pat on his shoulder, and Parthenax said, 20 years in here is just 20 days. So you'll be 20 days in a coma, and nobody would even notice, I bet, because of your parents. Oh, okay. Hold up, excuse me. And then Izuku, um, where am I gonna go with this? I'm trying to think. Sorry about that. I had to do something real quick. So so Izuku started training with Parson X, Alduin, and the Dovahkiin. And let's just skip the whole 20 years in the Mindscape. Izuku's in the hospital because he erased her head. Like, he came in, knocked on All Might's door. He says, can I speak to Izuku? He's like, he's in his room last time I checked. He walks into his room and he sees knocked out cold. Blood on the wall. Eraserhead grabbed Izuku, opened his window, ran out, jumped out the window, and bolted to the hospital. And Eraserhead's just sitting there waiting. And nobody knew that this was going on except Midnight, Miss Joke, Nezu, and Endeavor. But anyways, let's continue. So Eraserhead is just sitting in the hospital waiting for him to wake up. It's been 20 days. Izuku starts shifting in his bed. Eraserhead looked up and called the doctor saying he's waking up. And then Izuku eyes open and just like a powerful aura is around him. Eraserhead is like in awe shock. Doctor's like, this makes no sense. He's quirkless. How does he have late bloomer maybe? Then Izuku says, Eraserhead, I'll tell you once we get out. Because I know everything now. And then Eraserhead said, of course. And then the doctors proceed to ask Izuku questions about what did he see in his coma. And Izuku decided to tell him the most random shit, but which is true. He says, I saw a person with 2 dragons. And it was awesome. Okay, what else? They tried to eat me. All 3 of them. Weird. That must be scary. It was actually kind of fun. We basically just played tag. Like, very dangerous tag, and somehow I won. I ran for what, 20 years in there? Whew! 20 years, you've been out for 20 days. Oh, trust me, it was 20 years in there. Then, all Izuku hears is Alduin and Parthenax just chuckling at what he said to the doctors. Then Izuku says, is that all? The doctor's like, yeah, you can leave now, do whatever you want to do, I don't care. Then Izuku walked out with Eraserhead, and Eraserhead says, you want to go back to your house? Izuku looked at him with dead eyes and like, answer that for yourself. Eraserhead said, alright, let's go to UA, let's go talk to Nezu. And then Izuku says, alright, yeah, let's go. So they go to UA, and Nezu's sitting in his office, and all next thing you know, Nezu here is I don't know if you guys can hear that. This is better. That's still bad, but whatever. And Nezu said, come in. Then Eraserhead walked in with Izuku and Nezu says, oh, Azawa. Izuku, how you doing, bud? I'm doing good. How about you, Mr. Nezu? Please, just call me Nezu, and I'm doing pretty good. Thank you. So, what's this off the calendar meeting we got here? You know, Nezu, says Izuku. Nezu looked up at him and says, yes, Izuku? He says, I've been abused for being quirkless. You know that, right? He's like, what? Eraserhead says, what? Eraserhead was fuming. He was pissed. Sorry, I'm hungry and I have a plate of chicken right next to me. And then Eraser says, alright, yep, you're not going home, you're coming with me. And this is like, I have no objections. And I'll end up changing very soon. Like, my appearance is gonna change a lot, so you can just pronounce me as dead and see what they do to them. All right? Sounds like a deal, says Nezu. So, well, Izuku was way different as they were walking out. He's like, as I was like, that was fast. You changed really fast. And then Izuku's like, yeah. Then waits to Nezu to tell him, all right, go ahead, kill me off. So then Nezu got up, went to All Might and Inko's house. Izumi and Bakugo's there too, and Bakugo knows Izuku's quirkless. So, and also Shoto and Shota, Todoroki was also friends with them, and they wanted to bully Izuku for being quirkless. Excuse me, more chicken in my tummy. So everybody's just there. Then Nezu knocks on the door. And then All Might answers is like, oh, Nezu, how can we help you? He's like, I need to come in. It's no good news. Alright. So, you might want to call everybody, if anybody else is in the house besides you two, come in here. Then All Might yells, kids, get in here now. Nezu wants to talk to you. So all the kids come running downstairs. Nezu looks at all of them, and in his mind says, oh, these motherfuckers fucked up. I know every single one of them. They're not coming to UA at all. Nezu just smiles very creepily and says, well, All Might, I am removing your hero's licenses. And let's see, Bakugo, Kasumi, his sister, Izumi, Shota. Well, you five, I'm also blacklisting you from all hero schools. All Might gets up like, what's this for? Killing your own son. What do you mean? He's in his room. No, he just died in the hospital from your punch. And right before he died, he told me in Eraserhead, says, you guys were bullying him and abusing him. So, I might change my mind on you five. You guys might be able to change, but say goodbye to number one. Oh yeah, by the way, why do you got your phone out? Endeavor, Congratulations. For what? Well, no, first of all, congratulations, and you might want to get to All Might's house. Alright, why? First, I just blacklisted both of your kids from going to every hero school. He's like, okay, why? And, well, hold up, and congratulations. You're the new number one hero. He's like, oh, hold up. Tell me when I get there. So Endeavor pulls up. Endeavor's actually really good. He loves Izuku. And Ray also was there because he didn't put Ray away in the mental asylum or place or hospital, whatever it's called. Endeavor walks up, opens the door, says, Nezu, what's this about? All Might killed Izuku. Ray's heart shatters. She loved Izuku. Little bundle of joy, as she likes to call him. And then Endeavor's asked them, why did you blacklist my kids? Because they were bullying him for being quirkless. And before Endeavor could say anything, Ray snaps. She freezes all five of them on the instant. And just walks out. Endeavor looks at the ice and is like, you might want to try to get her back. Why? Why, All Might ask? I can't melt that ice. Only Toya can. And Toya's at work. All Might's like, shit. Endeavor walks. He kind of just like chops the ice. But he can't melt it. He can't freeze the people. But there's a weak point you notice where Shota and Shoto next is like a little space between Izumi, Katsumi, and Katsuki. So he just kind of like karate chops between Shoto and Izumi and just grabbed the ice and walked out. This is weird. But now we'll go back to Eraserhead and Izuku. So in Eraserhead, so what is this you wanted to tell me? And then Izuku says, well, yes, I am quirkless, but I am not powerless. You see, remember how I said there was 2 dragons and a person in my mind? You see, Eraser says, yeah, I do. Well, I was not lying at all. There was 2 dragons and a human in my head, but they weren't trying to eat me. They were training me to become powerful. Eraserhead says, training for what? And then Eraserhead said, nah, I'm not Eraser. Izuku says this. He opened his hand and fire came out. He says, that's not a quirk? He's like, nope, that's not a quirk. There's way more I can do. He swapped his magic out, and now electricity came out. And then Izuku went to the kitchen, and Eraserhead followed him. He grabbed a knife and cut his hand open. And Eraserhead says, what are you doing? Then Izuku, on the other hand, there's like a white and yellow mythical aura kind of. He brought his fists together and let go at the same time, and his hand healed. And then Izuku says, that's not even the best part. That's just low-level magic. Magic never existed. No, yes it did. Back when dragons actually existed. Dragons existed? Oh, a long time ago. A long time ago. He's like, what else? Then Eraser says, what else can you do? And Izuku says, let's go in the yard. Alright? And then, let me choose from the array of shouts. Which one sounds... Okay, yeah, this one sounds goes. And Izuku says, Yol Tor Shul! The fire breath shout, and it was just a big ball of fire came out of Izuku's mouth. And I was like, whoa, oh, that's cool. And so he said 3 words. Yup. Can you teach it to anybody else? I would have to talk to the dragons to see if they will let me. Okay. Can I go talk to him now? It's like, yeah, go ahead. So Izuku sat in the lotus position and went to his mindscape and says, Parthenax, Alduin, Dova. They all look at him and says, and Parthenax and Alduin says, yeah, what's up? He said, is it possible for me to teach people shouts? I mean, if we stay in here for another 40 years, if we trade for 40 years, probably. But what if, like, the low-level shouts, like Unrelenting Force, Frost Breath, Fire Breath, and probably, like, what? Storm Call? Is it possible for us to just do those? I mean, yeah. They could just, you know the words, so you would just have to share your knowledge about it. Like the Greybeards did to him. He's like, yeah, I remember Dovahkiin, like, giving some of his memories about it. Okay. Yeah. Alright, that's it. See you guys. I'll be back probably later. Yeah, see you, Izuku. And Izuku came out of his mindscape, and Eraserhead looked at him and says, what was their answer? He says, I can teach people low-level shouts. Like, Unrelenting Force will basically throw somebody off balance and probably send them flying. That's a low-level one? Oh yeah, it's the first shout I ever learned. Then, Fire Shout, Fire Breath, like I showed you. Frost Breath, and Storm Call. Oh, no, you know what? There's also another one I probably can teach you. I don't think they'll mind. Clear Skies. What does that do? Question, is it raining outside? Yeah. Let me find this. Clear Skies. Look! He walked outside and said, look, va, cool! And the rain just stops. Azal looks at the sky in shock and says, man, and then look back at Ezekiel and says, man, you're overpowered. Like, yeah, I know. You want to learn some of these shouts? He's like, yeah. You know what OP I would be? Actually, Well, knowing you, I'll actually teach you. Instead of unrelenting force, I'll teach you Aurora Whisper. What he's like? What does that do? It means you can see enemies through walls by their heartbeats. It's like what? Yeah. So Izuku taught you raise her head, fire breath, frost breath, ice form. I'm also adding a few to his. Storm call, Aurora Whisper, and Whirlwind Sprint. So now we will skip to the entrance exam, the day of the entrance exam, and man, it's only been 26 minutes. Man, it feels like I've been doing this for an hour. And then Izuku, not Izuku, my bad. Aizawa, or Eraserhead, asked Izuku, said, "Hey Izuku, do you want to take recommendations? Or, recommendations or the practical?" He says, "Practical." It's like, I should have known. Just let me limit you on your shouts. It's like, fine. Then Izuku's mind, like, I hope he doesn't say at least one of them. He says, okay. No, Battle Fury, Become Eternal, Bend Will, call both of the call dragons. Cyclone, Dragon Aspect, Dragon Rend, Drain Vitality, Elemental Fury, Kind's Peace, Mark for Death, Slow Time, Storm Call, Summon Dwarveneer, Throw Voice, Unrelenting Force, Soul Devour Soul, Soul Carnage, Summon, and Soul Fog. He's like, Izuku in his mind's like, oh, he didn't save one of them. Oh, it's the one I was hoping for too. He's like, got it. So now we'll skip to the day. Fuck, my bad. We'll skip to the written exam. So Izuku's sitting there. He said in his mind, like, Dad never said I can use any of my shouts during the written exam. So what Izuku did, I gotta find this. He said, "Did ko ul," and time just froze, except for what Izuku's doing. So Izuku finished the test before the time ran out. He made all the corrections, everything down, thanks to Parthenax actually teaching him a bunch of stuff, and Alduin. Then time unstops. It's literally been 10 seconds, not even 10 seconds. He walks up to Mike, he walks up to Mike, hands him the text, and whispers in the ears, everything's done, including the grammar mistakes, and just walks out. Ida sees this and he's pissed, like, no way, he probably just guessed. And then President Mike looks over the test, his eyes widen. He picks up his phone and calls Nezu. Nezu answers the phone, like, yes, Mike, is there an issue? He's like, no. A kid finished the test in 10 seconds and got 100. Nezu's like, oh, is it who I think it is? Like, what do you mean? What did he look like? What does he look like? Nezu asked. He says, tall, kind of like Ozawa. Yep, I know who you're talking about. His adopted son. It's like, oh, he has an adopted son. Yeah. What's his name? What does it say his name was? His name says is Dova Keen. Says, okay. Alright, thanks, Mike. Bye. So they hung up, and Izuku just walks out and sits in the waiting area for President Mike to come to the area with the rest of the kids. So once everybody gets there, Mike is explaining all three of the four robots, and not Izuku, fuck. what's his name? Ida stands up and raises his hand, and Mike says, "Yes, little listener." Then Ida says, "Excuse me, sir, but you didn't. This must be a mistake on UA, and this must be very shameful for you guys. But you didn't add the fourth robot. You didn't explain the fourth robot." And raises, like, pushes up his glasses, and you points at Izuku and says, "Why are you doing all those weapons? This is a disgrace to UA and UA properties. As I suggest you leave right now." And Izuku was about to get up, and then Mike says, "Whoa, calm down. And first of all, young listener, he's allowed to have those swords because it's part of his quirk. And second of all, don't interrupt me or you will not be put in. And third of all, the fourth robot is just a zero pointer. It's a waste of time. It's an obstacle. Do not touch it. If you want to touch it, you do you." And now we'll skip to the practical where everybody's standing by the gate. Izuku's just sitting there with his eyes open. He's reading one shout, and one shout only. Mike says, everybody hears Mike say over the intercom, "The gates are opening now." And all they hear is somebody yell, "Would na kissed!" And Izuku just bolts straight to the door at inhumane speed. And he says, hey, stop him, that's cheating." And Mike says, "What are you standing there for? There's no countdown in the real fight. Go. Everybody starts running off. Izuku, now we'll go to the teacher's room and say, the observation room, and then Nezu says, "Any guys that catches your attention?" And Razor says, "You already know who catches my attention." He's like, "Yeah, I know." All Might says, "Who?" "My adopted son." "You have a son?" "What's his name?" "Dova." "Dova?" He didn't take my last name, but he took his own last name. Dova Keen. He's named after the Dragonborn? Midnight asked. Aizawa and Nezu whipped their heads around like, "How do you know of the Dragonborn?" "What? Back when the dragons actually existed were my favorite time. Like, favorite thing to learn in history when we were younger, Aizawa." And Mike says, "She does have a point. She really did like it back then." And I do, of course I do remember it. Then All Might's like, "Dragons never existed." And then you what? Then he was like, do you want proof? You want proof that they existed?" He's like, "Yeah, try me." Then Eraser posts the speaker button and says, "Dova, you're allowed to use Call Dragon." Izuku's face just turned smug. He's like more smug than All For One smirk. He said, then I don't know why I'm laughing there. Then Izuku said, "Oh, va, ving," and then a dragon comes out of nowhere to land. He says, then Izuku says, "Do you wanna on where the Parthenax and Alduin? Do you wanna help me with this, destroying the robots?" He said Alduin and Parthenax. "Yeah, why not?" "Go, Lovey, I choose you." Oh man, why have I never made that joke? Anyway, that's fucking stupid. Anyway, Odavine and Izuku's just riding atop of Odavine, destroying robots left and right. All Might's just sitting there dumbfounded, along with Inko. Even though they don't have their hair license, they're like, "Who is this kid?" Aizawa's just smirking like, "Oh, wait till you actually find out." They look at it. Nezu. So the ones who knew Nova Keen is Izuku is Endeavor, Nezu, Recovery Girl, Nezu, Aizawa, and Endeavor, and Ray. Endeavor just smiling like, "Oh, wait till they know. Wait till they actually find out." They're getting excited. And then next thing they hear is Eraser says, "Do it." Push the button, Nezu. And Nezu says, "Okay." Then Eraser is just going through his memory, says, "I forgot to tell him not to use one of those. Shit." Everybody looks at him and says, "What do you mean?" I said he can use. I didn't tell him he can't. He can use Soul Tear. Oh, what's Soul Tear? His quirk is called Dovahkiin. He can shout like the Dragon Lord from way back when, and absorb skulls. He can absorb souls of dragons if they ever return, but they're not. And then All Might says, "Okay." Then Ezekiel's seen the zero pointer and says, "Damn, that's big. Odavine, I got this. You can go back to wherever you were, back to Sovngarde if you really want." He's like, "Bet, Sovngarde, here I come," and he just flew off into them and just faded from life itself. And Izuku was about to just walk away, and then he hears, by the Dovahkiin, please somebody help. Izuku snapped his head straight around, saw a chick who looked very familiar to him because the Dovahkiin shared his memories with him. And the Dovahkiin just, inside Izuku's head, he's looking through his eyes, his mouth dropped. He's like, and for first time forever they heard him speak, is Sarana? Izuku bolted. Just straight bolted. Didn't care what Izawa said at all. He used, let's see, which one? He used Dragon Expect. So, where is it? Mul al Thief. And then he said two consecutive voices at the same time, looking straight at the zero pointer. Let's see, which one is it? He didn't care what Izawa said at all. Let's see, where is it? Kir Lun Us, which that is marked for death. He says, oh, he just used marked for death. And then he says, Ritter Val Zul. And the zero pointer just disintegrates. Everything is gone. Just dead. Nothing left. Ezekiel, in his dragon aspect, lifted up all the rubble and casted fast healing on this person. She looks at him and says, you know magic? Well, and Ezekiel says, my quirk is called Dovahkiin. Her eyes went wide, says, Dovahkiin, is that actually you? Reincarnation of him. Oh. Well, Sarana, how do you know me? He shared his memories with me. He said, oh. Makes sense. What are you doing here as my age now? He's like, I got reincarnated too. Oh, makes sense. And then they left. He's like, hey, wait, why do you look so sad? Like, well, my quote-unquote quirk is called vampire, but nobody wants it. He's like, alright, that's fine, just come with me. Dad wouldn't care. Who's your dad? Adopted father. Eraserhead. He's like, oh, cool, so who's your biological? Asmite. He whispers, Asmite. She just chuckles. He's like, oh, okay, I understand now. So they go back, and they're just waiting for Eraserhead to come back. Eraserhead just walked out and says, who's the lady? Says, well, remember I told you about Sarana? Yeah, well, she's the reincarnation of her. So you're a vampire. Yep, and let me guess. People think she's quirk and they won't let you stay anymore. It's like, no, the straight hammer. Alright, let's go. So they go back. Eraserhead's like, both of you stay out here, I gotta tell Joke this. He yells in, Joke, come home! Miss Joke came around the corner. It's like, where's Izuku? Well, then Yuri says, either Izuku just got a girlfriend or we got an adopted daughter, a new daughter. He's like, what do you mean? Come in. Izuku and Serrano looks out, and Joke does know everything about Izuku, and he says, is that Sarana? She's like, how does she know? I told her. Oh. Well, yeah. Yes, Mom, she is. She's the reincarnation of her, to be exact. She's like, oh, so like you with the Doba King. She's like, yeah. So, you two gonna get together, or we adopting her? Joke says, jokingly, he's like, Izuku just fell back, went straight to his mindscapes. He sees, he sees Alduin just laughing at him. He's like, you should have seen your face. Dovahkiin's like, he's pinching his nose, bridge of his nose, and just shaking his head. And Barthenek's like, my lord, may Akatosh fill your heart with kindness. Izuku just chuckles like, I'll ask her out tomorrow or some shit. But little did he know, he was also talking. Barthenek casted a little spell on him, so whatever he says in the mindscape, they can hear. And then Sarana's face went red. I was just like, we don't have to adopt her now, huh? Joke's like, no, I wish, but no. She still will be our daughter no matter what. Daughter-in-law, no, the law doesn't exist. In part of daughter-in-law does not exist, it's just daughter. I'm okay with that. And then, no, we'll skip to, once Izuku gets up, he's found out he's laying in his bed, staring up at the ground, staring right at the roof, and he tries to get up, but it's something heavy on him. He looks down, sees Sarana in one of his sweatshirts just snuggling up against his body. Izuku turned bright red and says, Sarana, what are you doing? And Sarana woke up, blushed immediately once she realized what she's doing. She got up and walked straight out. Didn't say a word, and Izuku's like, what happened? Then he raised her and walked in and like, when you were knocked out, you said you'll ask her out on a date. She's like, and he says, his eyes went wide, says, Dwayne! It was so distraught in the verse. He's like, I'm gonna kill you again! The other one's like, man, worth it. Now we'll skip to the next day. First class is the day after this day that they're on now. And they're on a date. Sarana and Izuku are on a date. And they're at the mall. And then Izuku's senses went off the chart. Like, they were telling him something's wrong, but it's not a dangerous type of wrong. He's like, Sarana, just be worried, something might happen. She's like, alright, yeah, I sense it as well. They're just walking around, and then until they notice five people. He's like, his face went pale. Sarana looked at him and says, those are who I think they are? He's like, yeah. And those standing there are Izumi, Katsuki, Kasumi, Shoto, and Shota. They're walking around. Shoto looked at Sarana and was like, whoa, she's hot. She walked out to her and says, my lady, may I ask you on a date? So she's like, no, I'm already on a date right now, so back the fuck off. Then she says, who was this lonely loser? He's like, what? It's okay, I know what I'm doing. Then Sarana says, watch your tongue. You're speaking to the true High King. Then Izuku's just laughing his ass off. You really didn't have to call Rayloff, did you? He's like, yes, I did. She's like, who the fuck is Rayloff, and what the fuck? I'll let you know. Yeah. You don't want to mess with me. And you don't want to mess with me. So what? Yeah, I can. I'm the son of Endeavor. And it's like, okay. You know what? Fuck it. I'm telling you and I'm the son of All Might. Fuck you. And they just walked off. And Shoto's like, his eyes went wide. He walks back. He says, that guy with that chick, he said he's the son of your dad. She's like, well, no, he's dead. Izuku's dead. Could he have another child that he doesn't know about? I mean, it could be a possibility, but we had to ask him. So they get done. So Izuku and Sarana gets done with their date. And then they look back and Eraser's just looking at him. It says, "You did what I think you did, didn't you?" She's like make a joke that was All Might's son. He's like, yeah, I did. You should have seen his face. Who did he tell it to? Shoto. Todoroki. We gotta tell Endeavor this. Endeavor Red. So, Eraserhead calls Endeavor and Ray. He's like, come over, just you two. We have something funny to tell you. So they came over, and he's like, what's up? Izuku says, I told your son that I may or may not be the son of All Might. And they all started laughing. It's like, oh, wait till he tells me this. I'm like, I already know what happened. That's Eraserhead's son, so. Alright, well, see you guys later. Now we'll skip to the next day. And I say, where am I going to end this episode off? I've been going for 46 minutes. I will end, okay. I'll end after the test. No, I'll end that wherever I'm at an hour. So we skip to the first day, as I said, and then Izuku and Sarana, she's sitting in the back of the class, waiting for Eraserhead. They know he's sleeping because they came in with him, sleeping behind the desk. And they said, once everybody gets into this, then Izuku says, Dad, get your ass up, or I will unrelenting force you out that window. He says, he gets up immediately. He says, I'm good, even though like you could. You want to take a bet? He's like, you want to take a bet so we can launch each other out the window first? He's like, you want to go? He's like, or do I? And they're just staring at each other, like everybody's like, what the fuck is going on? And then Sarana just coughed and they both just shut up. But also, literally, they know Miss Joke is hiding in the room too, and she coughed at the same time. They both just shut up. Everybody looks behind and see Miss Joke's like, Miss Joke, what are you doing here? It's like, I thought somebody was gonna get in trouble today, so I'm just keeping an eye on those two certain people. It's like, they're like, okay. So then they'll get to the test. Razor says, just put these, go in the locker, put these on, and just do your thing, a little stuttering. And Izuku just gets up, shaking, grabs this thing, and just slowly just gets the hell out of there. Once in the hall, he hears would, could, knit. Wait, no, I said that wrong. My bad. Yeah, would, not, kissed. And Izuku bolted for the locker room. Eraserhead just jumps out the window, says, fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. He doesn't want to do, and then says, what about orientation? Then Miss Joke says, it's his class. Just go get changed. Don't mess with him. Don't mess with Dova. Sarana said, yeah, trust me. Don't want to mess with him, since he's my boyfriend and all. He just walks out. Meaning gasp. He says, we already have a relationship in our class? He's like, and Miss Joke says, yeah, they've been dating for like 2 months now. Like, how do you know? It's like, I'm Dova's mother. Adopted mother. It's like, oh. Okay. And then Eraser and Izuku are just out in the field shaking. He's like, why was Mom there? Then Eraser says, like, why was Emmy there? And they're just shaking. It's like, you want to take a bet who's going to get here first between Mom and Sarana? He's like, definitely your mom. They're like, no, Sarana's way faster than Mom. And then next thing you know, both of them appear at the same time. It's like, hi. Like, damn it, fuck. Both says, like, what? You guys take a bet who first one's going to come here? It's like, yeah. Then Miss Joke says, what did I say about making bets on us? Izuku and Eraser is like shaking in their boots, and the rest of the class came down and she's like, what's going on? It's like, oh, good, thank God you're here. And then Eraser pulls out the ball and says, first place on the answer exam gets to throw the ball for us. Bakugo walks up, and along with all the rest of the five says, well, you guys are not first place. Like, what do you mean? Yes, we are. He just tossed the ball up. Izuku grabs the ball and says, yo. It's like, then he looks at Eraser and says, Dad, what, any limitations? He's like, no. He's like, oh. So what Izuku does is he shouts, Mul dal vil. Wait, I said that wrong. Mul al dil, which that is Dragon Expect. And then he did Elemental Fury, which is Soul Gun Done. And then let's see. That's what he tosses the ball up, looks at it. Well, the ball is already flying up since it's unenchanted weapon, his fist. And he tosses the ball up and says, Vos ro da, and the ball just goes Meow. Hey, Ozawa looks at his phone and says, I am not surprised, but that is infinity. Izuku just walks back, says, beat that one, Serrano. What, just goes, keeps on walking. Then Eraser says, alright, second place. Bakugo tries to walk up, says, you're not second place. What? Who is? Who's this extra? And Serrano walks up, give me the ball, Dad. Dad? Well, father-in-law, but whatever. Give me the ball. Yeah, here you go. Hey, Mom, you want to take a bet who's going to win, me or Izuku? It's like, you. Well, me or Doa? You. You're going to win, aren't you? Oh, I use way too much power. Serrano cocked back to her arm. And she slowly, just without nobody noticing, but Izuku raised her hand. Miss Joke noticed, sucking on Izuku's power through some magic. Her arms she leaned back and chucked it. And the ball went, meow. And then Eraser looks at the phone and says, infinity. And then Serrano, Miss Joke, Izuku, and Ozawa just drops on their backs like, damn it, we didn't win a bet. Then Mina's like, what you guys are making bets? Like, don't worry about it. We try to get on top of we try to win everything. We're a little way too competitive. Then, let's see, what can I do now? I have 7 minutes. Alright, this next is what I'll do. So they'll go through the test on the running test. Of course, Izuku's gonna get first by using wood, now kiss, which is whirlwind sprint, as I said plenty of times now. I'll just keep on saying it, just in case you guys don't remember off the top of your head. And then for the long jump, he just summons Odavin. He used the cold dragon shout, which is O-Va-Vin. So he just rides Odavin. So he just continues a long jump. And for the grip test, he pulls up his sleeve because he enchanted his uniform just in case something happens. But he lifts it up so his hand's not enchanted. And then he does Bul al Vir, which is Dragon Expect. And then he does Sun Gran Dan, which that is, where's that? Elemental Fury. And he just grips the thing, and the grip thing just shatters. The same thing with Serrano's, because at the same time he was doing that, she was leeching off his power, so she got affected by Battle Fury, Dragon Expect, and Elemental Fury. So now we'll skip until the end of the day. So Izawa's like, alright, tomorrow I won't be teaching you. Well, the buffoon is gonna be teaching you probably, the yellow hair clown buffoon. And then Risa walks out. Izuku and Sarana just bolted out with Miss Joke and Izawa. They're just walking. Then Nezu says, no, you know what? Let's do something random. It's like, then Izuku turns to Miss Joke and say, hey mom, yes sweetie, wanna go get ramen? He's like, yeah. Dad? Sarana's like, why not? So they go get ramen for the hell of it. Because I said so. And then once they're eating, you hear a roar. And this roar woke up Parthenax, the Dovahkiin, and Alduin. They're like, oh god damn. Izuku says, what's that? Then I forgot his name. But the one frost giant in the Dragonborn DLC, it starts with a kiss Krov or some shit like that. And Izuku walks out, like, Dad, this is on me. Why? Me and Serrano, why? You know why. Yeah. I erase her head. I misjoke. Give Sarana and Izuku permission to use their quirk. Let's go, Serrano. She grabs on, and Izuku said, wood, goodness! And bolted straight at the frost giant. He pulls out, let's say, a Daedric, unenchanted Daedric Warhammer. Then he says, Mead, Vur, Sun. And then, Soon, Gun, Done. And then, Mul, Al, Dil. And then Izuku, of course, said, Here, Lun, Us. Ooh, this is hurting my throat shouting a lot. God damn. And then, last minute, they were just on their ass bleeding weak. The Frost Giant was about to bring down its hammer, and then Izuku was like, fuck, I get one more voice. Alduin, give me power. Alduin's like, I can give you a little bit to clue on your timer. Then Izuku was like, as it was like 10 feet above him, Eraser animation was like, no! Then, all my just standing there watching, doing nothing. Like, Endeavor's running, trying to get there as fast as possible. And then Izuku says, Wir von Zul. Then the hammer hits. But the last seconds, nobody heard. Izuku grabs Sarana and said, Fim, Zin, Gran. And Eraserhead and Miss Joke just drops on the ground crying. Then they see the Frost Giant just disappear, like it evaporates. And then they see like its soul could come out and just surround this like invisible force. Then Eraserhead just looks up like, oh my god, oh thank God. Endeavor's like, what? They're gone. They're pulverized. No, they're not. Hey, you got a bucket of paint on you, Mister? Of course I do. Watch this, Endeavor. Throws a red bucket of paint onto that bulge, and then they just see Izuku and Serrano Izuku holding Serrano and just face, like his back up, protecting her from the hit. So then he never says, that's mighty worthy of you, Dova. He looks at Endeavor. Izuku looks at Endeavor like, wait, you guys can see me? He's like, he looks down, sees a bucket of paint olive. He looks straight at Izawa and says, really? Paint on the uniform. You're cleaning this then. On both of our uniforms. He's all then Eraser's like, oh, fuck. I did not think of this. They go home, and once they get home, this is where I'm gonna end it off today. So, I am Kisame Hoshigaki. I hope you enjoy. Good luck in all your future endeavors, and have a fantastic little day.